Hello children, this is B. Vijay Bai. Welcome to our English world. Here we are going to learn about past perfect tense. Past perfect. Children, let us learn what does it mean by past perfect tense. The definition of the past perfect tense is: past perfect is a verb tense used to talk about actions that were completed before some point in the past. Children, most of the time many of us are confused of this past perfect, like in which situations and the timings to use this tense. So, to clear this doubt, I will tell you when to use the past perfect. We use the past perfect to make clear which action happened first and which action happened second. When we are telling a story, we use the past perfect when we want to refer back to an action that happened before the story that we are telling. Here are some more situations which help us when to use the past perfect. This tells that previous experience that happened prior to the telling of the story. For example, when I arrived home, she cooked dinner. We can say these like, when I arrived home, she had cooked dinner. By using the past perfect, it becomes very clear that dinner was ready when I got home. Past perfect is a complex tense. It has two parts, auxiliary verb and main verb. Here, the auxiliary verb is had and the main verb would be past participle, that is V plus ed. Let us know about the form of this past perfect tense. Here we go with the structure of the past perfect tense. The structure may be like this: subject plus auxiliary verb plus main verb. In the first example, I had finished my work. You had stopped before me. Children, let us see how to frame the negative sentence. She had not gone to school. We had not left. Let us see how to make the question form in past perfect. Had you arrived? Had they eaten dinner? It expresses action in the past before another action in the past. That means past in the past. For example, the train left at 9 a.m. We arrived at 9:15 a.m. This one we can say in this way like, when we arrived, the train had already left. I hope many of you watched the Titanic movie. The ship was hit to an iceberg. In that accident, many people died. Actually, it received many warnings before it hit the iceberg. Means receiving the warning happened first and then the hitting of the ship happened later. So we can show this in sentences like, the Titanic had received many warnings before it hit the iceberg. Otherwise, I had already written my report when my friend stopped by to visit. The lecture had started before we arrived. This might have happened in our lives very often. When the students enter the class, the lecturer completed his lecture. So, we can say, to talk about the past action that ended before another action or time in the past, we can use before and after and simple past. We also use the past perfect to show the cause of a past action. Means, whenever we wanted to express the reasons for our late coming, health conditions and inconveniences happen in our life, the past perfect is suitable one. Let us see the example for this cause of past action. I was tired on Monday because I hadn't slept well the night before. Children, some words would help us to show the time of actions. Let's see them. With time expressions such as when, after, before, as soon as, by the time, by, and until. These are the time expressions that help us to show the time of actions. Next, let us see in example. By the time I got home, my brother had already left. Means the first action is my brother left the home, but I reached the home later. So the action which happened earlier would be in past perfect and the later with simple past with the time expression like by the time. The key words of past perfect: after, as soon as, and passing. Before. Children, you should know when to use after and before. The first action or earlier action should take after. Let's see with example. After he had finished the meeting, he made a telephone call. Means the past perfect is he had finished, so this one would take after. The next one. While using before, the second action take before. Here, the second action means simple past tense would take before. That is the main difference. Finish learning, got. Make similar sentences using after and before. Finish learning, got. Learning happened first, going out took place next. Children, we learned that the earlier action can be expressed in past perfect and would take after. Let's see it in sentences. After I had finished learning, I went out. Suppose if you want to use the expression before, it should be used with the action that happened later. Let's say in example, before I went out, I had finished learning. Go to the faculty and read. By the time I went to the faculty, I had read an interesting book. As soon as I had read an interesting book, I went to the faculty. Children, when we are telling some real experiences or incidents that happened in our past life, we would use past tense. In those past time stories, we can use past perfect tense to show the differences in the actions. Last weekend, Raj and Ravi went to a playground. Raj took Ravi to the basketball court. Raj loved to play basketball. He had learned this game from childhood. He had even played in a team in high school. Before the day, Ravi had never played basketball. He did not know how to throw the ball in the basket. He did not know the Raj taught Ravi how to play. After Ravi had learned the basics, now he can spot the ball into the basket. It was a good throw. Raj had taught Ravi well. How can we make use of past perfect tense in conversation? Children, how to show the other person in a conversation about the action that had happened before other action. Let's see the conversation. Here, two persons named Geeta Raji. Geeta is saying, I had come to your house but you had already left. Raji. Oh, I am sorry. I went to Delhi yesterday. Geeta. How about your journey? Raji. The train had already started when I reached the station. Why you had not reached the station before the train left? We were caught in a heavy traffic. Then, how did you reach Delhi? We had hired a cab. Had you booked your hotel in advance? Yeah, we had already booked the hotel just 1 week before. Okay, children, let's move to our textual grammar part and observe the sentences given in the text. In this story, the author used the past perfect had plus past participle in many sentences. If you observe the following sentences from the story and the rules given under them, you will understand why and how the past perfect is used. For example, like, it was 10:20. My father had already left. When an action takes place before a point of time in the past, the action is expressed in the past perfect tense. Sometimes the point of time can be understood from the earlier sentences and other contextual. Children, we already learned some rules in the previous slides. Let's learn from the examples given in the textbook. Finally, we reached the rank. The bus from Tawang had not yet reached the rank. When two actions in the past are clearly separated by time, the earlier action is expressed in the past perfect tense. When we go to the third example, I quickly sat down on a rock. My father laughed at my plight. Here, when two actions in the past happen simultaneously, both of them are expressed in the past tense.